In this video, we are going to take a close look at high hydration doughs and all the risks and challenges they entail. No recipe here. Instead, we are getting our hands dirty, quite literally exploring theoretical concepts put into practice. I'll show you how to transform that sticky, soggy mess on your work surface into a mouth-watering pizza. And if you stick around, you'll soon have access to the recipe with all the ingredients and perfect proportions. Let's kick things off by discussing my mix. I've used a combination of Manitoba and strong flour, where the ideal hydration should be around 80%. Here you can see me adding the yeast and salt together simultaneously, followed by cold water. There's a theory that claims salt kills yeast when used together and in direct contact. However, every time I've done so, I've never experienced a situation where the dough didn't rise. It's true that cold water and salt noticeably slow down the rising process. That's why it's crucial, if you're following this method, to use yeast that's either very far from its expiration date or freshly bought and stored without any fluctuations in temperature. If the yeast is indeed old or close to expiration, it won't be as active anymore. In such cases, salt and cold water could potentially kill it, and your dough won't rise. So we mixed all the ingredients, and I decided to add more water than usual, taking this dough to 95% hydration. This can be quite risky because if your flour isn't strong and good enough to hold all that moisture, your dough might collapse. Here's our soggy dough, ready to be stored in the fridge overnight. This is the dough the day after being placed on a lightly wet work surface. It truly looks like a soggy, shaggy mess. It's nearly impossible to fold something like this with your hands. You'll need a kitchen scraper, constantly greased or wet, to help you fold the sides a few times, to try to develop gluten and strengthen the dough. I bet you found yourself in this situation at least once in your life. Super excited to taste a good pizza, confident in what you're doing, but instead dealing with an incomprehensible, shapeless material that you're tempted to throw away. Apparently, the situation hasn't improved much. The point is, if a dough is waterlogged, it remains waterlogged. I gave the dough a few hours of rest until it tripled in volume. You might be very excited to see the dough so full of beautiful red bubbles, but I noticed one of them deflated as soon as I touched the bowl. It's another common mistake to think that the more the dough rises, the better. If the dough rises excessively, the gases produced by fermentation could be too much for the dough to retain, resulting in a fragile structure, collapsing bubbles, and a very flat bread ready to bake. But the real question is, how on earth will I be able to handle something like this? You'll need a generous amount of semolina flour or rice flour to put under and on top of your dough. These flours won't absorb moisture. Instead, they will create a sort of barrier, allowing you to handle the dough easily. Fold it, shape it, and finally place it inside the tray and stretch it. The topping must be very light and preferably spread with a brush to avoid bursting the bubbles that you worked so hard to preserve. I visited Costco a few days ago and found this shredded mozzarella fior di latte that I wanted to try. Let the pizza cool down for a while before slicing. Isn't this better than throwing everything away? And the good news is that the pizza was downright delicious. The crumble wasn't waterlogged at all, with a soft and very light chewiness that was a pleasure to eat, and a crunchy crust to die for. Of course, you'll notice some surface bubbles appearing flatter due to the weight of the toppings. It's not a significant issue for me, but If preserving wide, open bubbles is important to you, just avoid overtopping. I hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed it, please like and share the video, consider subscribing, leave a comment, and hit the bell to receive notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.